Ryan, are you sure about all this? Because he can't remember any of it except in nightmares, and he... No, I don't like the idea at all, but I suppose it's up to Barrett to decide. Yes, of course, I'll tell him. Right. Goodbye.
There you are.
That was Ryan.
Ah. I wondered when he'd call. What's the matter?
Well, he set up an appointment for you tomorrow with Bart Walker for a physical.
Good. I know that look.
Do you?
Sure. It says, Barry, I think you're a fool for doing this thing, but if you think it's right, I'll go along. But don't you dare think for 1 minute that I approve. Right?
Why do you want to dredge all these things up that you'd rather forget? That would be hard to know.
Oh, did I say I thought it'd be easy? You could make it easier. If you come with me. Will you?
Why can't you let the dead past lie?
Because it isn't dead. Every night I go back. It happens all over again. And besides, Ryan needs to know whatever it is I can't remember.
Ryan? You don't owe Ryan anything.
Don't I? He found me. He had me brought home. And now there's something he needs to know. Something that only I can tell him. Honey, I owe the man. And I try to pay my debts.
Elliot?
Paige.
Thanks. Don't mind if I do. I'm so glad you could get here early, darling. Now we can have our little tete-a-tete before the dinner crowd arrives.
I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you, Paige. I am the dinner crowd. That is, Dennis and I are. He'll be joining me shortly.
Dennis? But how can we talk about him, darling, when he's sitting right here with us?
We can't. Which is just as well, because there's nothing for us to say.
There isn't? Oh, Elliot, you've just made a serious mistake, darling.
Now, wait a minute.
If you don't want to talk to me, fine, but don't think for a minute that I won't talk to Dennis, and we both know I have a lot to tell him.
As usual, you've misconstrued my meaning entirely.
Well, then, fine. Why don't you set me straight before Mr. Wheeler's son arrives? Thank you. Why did you invite him?
I've invited him for a last supper.
Last? Before what?
Before I leave Houston.
Oh, darling. You're not serious.
But I am. It seems that even from the grave, the omnipotent Mr. Wheeler can enforce his will.
You're leaving Houston?
Because recent events make it impossible for me to stay.
I'm afraid I'm just the teeniest bit confused, Elliot.
A refreshing change, no doubt.
I thought you'd intended to stay in Houston, darling.
How dare I change my mind? Is that what you mean?
Well, I wouldn't have put it so crudely, but yes, that's the gist of it.
I have no intention of telling you.
Elliot! I get the distinct impression you don't trust me.
How astute, Paige.
Darling, I'm your son's intended.
You are also blackmailing me.
Oh.
Do you think I'd be so stupid as to reveal any confidences to you?
My goodness, what a difficult position you've put me in. I promised not to tell Dennis about his paternity only on the grounds that you gave us our blessing, darling. But how can I do that?
My blessing will be my absence.
Oh, no, darling. That's not nearly enough.
How could anyone bless a match made in hell?
Dennis, darling. Oh, what a wonderful surprise.
Let's hope it stays that way. Dad, are you two enjoying each other's company?
Oh, yes. Yes, we've learned a lot about each other.
And all of it fascinating.
Ready for dinner?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm so glad you two have decided to eat early. That means that I can join you if that's all right with your dad.
Of course. Yes, I'm happy to oblige my son's fiancée.
Oh, your dad's so kind, Dennis. Now, you sit down right there, and I am going to go get us a waiter. All right?
All right.
Excuse me. Alfredo?
Barrett, you don't owe anybody anything for bringing you home. You've sacrificed enough.
You don't understand.
Oh, don't I? I've seen you try to come to us from another universe. I see you wake up sweating, screaming in the middle of the night because you're remembering things that you should forget. Why let Ryan dredge all these things up again? Can't you put them in the back of your mind where they belong? And
can't.
get on with the rest of your
I
life?
cannot do that, Ginny. I need to remember. Can't stand having forgotten. I held on over there. I'm not going to lose anything now.
God or nature sent you forgetfulness as a soothing balm. Why can't you just accept that? I don't know why I'm even asking you that. Of course you can't accept it. You've never been able to accept anything your body told you to. You're always fighting fatigue, fighting pain.
I'm a soldier,
You're a man who suffered.
and I need to remember it. All of it. Jenny, you come from a military family yourself. How many times have you heard your father say, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it?
You're a man, Barrett. Just one man. You don't have to bear the burden of history.
I'm a marshal. And that makes me a man who has to hold on to his history no matter what it costs. It's bred into my bones. You know that. I was born with the need to know. The craving to remember, that sense of each day neatly fitting into the one before it and the one after it. That's what helped me get through those last 5 years. You know what upset me most? You know what was the worst of it all? Was when I started to forget.
We all have things that we want to forget.
This is different. Ginny, those things that I had happened to me in the past year, the escape that almost killed me, those things happened. They were real. They're part of my personal history, and they're missing. Now, I've got to recall them, face them, learn to live with them. I can't just pretend that they never occurred.
Well, you could if you wanted to.
But I won't. Because no matter how much I try ignoring it, they'll still keep exploding in my dreams. And when the dreams stop, if they ever do, I'll, deep down, there'll always be another me. His mouth taped shut and his eyes tied, lying in that jungle saying, it was so, after all. I paid the price for it. For every bit of it. I won't throw it away, no matter what. I won't betray myself.
As long as you're doing it for your sake and not because of some indebtedness to Ryan.
Of course, if it happens to help Ryan in the process, so much the better. I still believe in paying off my debts.
I understand.
And tell me you'll go with me tomorrow. That you'll help me.